managed by Florida native Kevin Cash. He'll go with John Jaso, the DH, leading it off, followed by Grady Sizemore in right field. Evan Longoria bats third and plays third base. Houston native James Loney is at first base. The second baseman is Logan Forsythe, with Asdrubal Cabrera at shortstop. Desmond Jennings in left field. Kevin Kiermaier in center field. Rene Rivera is the catcher.
And you see Colin McHugh once again. He's got some intriguing numbers also to go against Tampa Bay. The 0-3 there, 191 batting average against, and yet 0-3 in 3 lifetime starts against these Tampa Bay Rays. But Colin McHugh, a 20-game winner on his own since August 1st of last year.
That is impressive. It's been a very good run for Colin.
Defensively behind McHugh tonight, in the outfield left to right, Preston Tucker. Carlos Gomez back in there, and Colby Rasmus. Left side of the infield, Luis Valbuena and Carlos Correa. On the right, Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez as he gets another start. Jason Castro behind the plate.
McHugh checks around. His infielders move to their positions. Valbuena in tight, doing a little dance at third base, getting his footwork all set, and it's John Jaso batting. The infield playing Jaso to pull. Jaso takes in, it's upstairs. Ball one. 323 for Jaso, 1 homer, 13 runs batted in, and 342 this month. Correa backs up to get the hop and throws him out from the outfield grass. 1 out for McHugh. Grady Sizemore will follow. This Tampa Bay club has scored 450 runs, next to last in the American League, but lately they've been hitting very well. Colin McHugh last time out threw 102 pitches, got a no decision against Detroit with a fine effort, 7 innings of 4 hit, 1-run baseball. The Astros lost that one in the 11th, 4-2. The Astros record when McHugh is the starter is 15-9. That is strike one. DJ Rayburn is a home plate umpire. Sizemore starts the night at 234. He's gone deep 6 times with 19 runs batted in. He taps the curveball foul. It's 0-2 with the infield staying in that pull alignment for this left-handed hitter as well. Sizemore's 0 for 5 in this series. Curveball is down. It's a 1-ball 2-strike count for Colin. Colin lost 3-1 to the Rays at Tampa Bay July 10th. Fouled, and it stays 1-2 with Longoria on deck. Oh, this has been a series filled with close games between the two, and well pitched games this season. The Astros ERA against the Rays, they're 2-4 against them, is 3.21. The Rays ERA against the Astros 1.87. Foul back, it stays at 1 ball 2 strikes. Last night's loss was the 10th walk-off loss of the year for the Rays.
That sums up a season where you don't succeed.
Sizemore takes ball 2. It's 2 balls 2 strikes to Grady. He turned 33 a couple of weeks ago, native of Seattle, drafted by Montreal. Kevin Cash's club trying to turn around its fortunes on this road trip, but still with a winning record at Minute Maid Park, 11-8. That's off the plate, and it's a full count now to Sizemore.
Good looking heater from Colin. Here's our strike zone now, brought to you by MD Anderson. As you see that array of pitches in and around the strike zone, that one, man, all it takes is a seam and just misses.
Bounce to first base. Marwin Gonzalez, 2 outs. McHugh 0-3 despite a 3.00 ERA in his 3 starts against the Rays. That includes a 5-0 loss last year at Tampa Bay against Archer. But in that game, Colin did not give up an earned run in 6 innings. Longoria with 13 homers, 55 runs batted in, brings a .277 batting average into this contest. That's strike 1 to Longoria, who is 6 for 16 in this series with an RBI. It's 1-1. The bullpen was spectacular last night, as Bart mentioned, for the Astros, with 6 innings of shutout ball, allowing just 3 hits in the 3-2 13-inning win. Dallas Keuchel went 7. It's 1-2.
Not a bad first inning of velocity for Colin McHugh. 91-92.
Yeah.
Comes up and in despite trying to go away, and slips it right over the bat.
In the air, and here comes the center fielder Gomez over to right center to make it a 1-2-3 first for Colin McHugh. Second playing first base tonight. Carlos Correa is the shortstop. The cleanup man is right fielder Colby Rasmus, with Carlos Gomez returning to the lineup in center field. Evan Gattis in DH, Luis Valbuena at third base tonight. Preston Tucker's in left field, and Jason Castro is the catcher.
On the mound, it's Chris Archer. He is a tough one. 26 years of age, 10-9. That .293 ERA is among the leaders in the league. He's third in strikeouts in the American League. Roughed up his last time out, that at Arlington against the Rangers. 5 1/3, allowing 8 runs, 7 of those earned.
Jose Altuve's ready on a 6-game hitting streak. 13 for 30 during the last 6 games for Jose. Upstairs, ball 1. Altuve's 4th in hits in the American League with 143. With a .307 batting average, 9 homers, he's driven in 50. He's hitting .332 at home. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Archer is quite a pitcher, as Ash has pointed out. Last time out, a rough outing for him, giving up 7 earned runs at Texas in a 5 1/3 inning stint. He was tagged for 11 hits in that game. But he has pitched a number of outstanding games this year. Altuve moves back. It's 3-0 as Archer struggles to find home plate in the early going.
And this, by the way, is the 5th career start for Archer against the Astros. He's 2-1, but the numbers are even better. 157 batting average, all the Astros can muster, in a 109 ERA.
That's a walk on 4 pitches to Altuve.
Defensively, for these Tampa Bay Rays, Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, and Grady Sizemore in the outfield. Left side of the infield, Evan Longoria has Drupal Cabrera on the right. Logan Forsythe and James Loney. Rene Rivera gets the job as the catcher.
Kevin Cash's club relying on the right arm of Archer to get the Tampa Bay Rays a win tonight. And he has been really solid. In fact, Baseball America last week released its annual Best Tools survey of Major League managers. Archer was named the 3rd best pitcher in the American League. Marwin Gonzalez takes ball 1, and he was named the American League pitcher with the best slider. But first 4 pitches have been balls, and there's the visit from Rivera.
Yeah, there are a number of guys that have great sliders. That becomes kind of a competition of, sometimes it's that youngster that really shines, and Archer could be that guy.
And the fastball's in the mid-90s, among the top 10. Marwin's 3 for 11 with a game-winning homer in this series. In for a strike. 1-1 to Marwin Gonzalez. And on this homestand, he's hit .368, going 7 for 19. He's hit better than any other Astro since June 14th. .328. Showing bunt, he takes it for strike 2. Longoria came in. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
If there is real intent to bunt, taking that strike is it's really tough on you individually as the hitter and for the team. And now Marwin's got to make something happen with the swing.
The catcher throws very well. Rene Rivera has thrown out 38% this year. Strikeout for out number 1. Archer is quite a strikeout pitcher, Ash.
And suddenly that strikeout bug has taken a bite out of Marwin.
Yeah, last night he whiffed 4 times.
Taking a look at the Super Bowl. That's the replay brought to you by Mattress Firm. Right from the side. It's a tough game. You can be the hero one night and suddenly the next night it is very, very ugly for you.
Carlos Correa lined a homer his first time up last night. Then he had the game-winning single in the 13th. Ball 1 in the dirt. Rivera comes up with it. Correa's on a 5-game hitting streak. With his 15th homer of the season last night, he tied Jeff Bagwell on the all-time Astros rookie home run list for the 5th best season by an Astros rookie in long balls. He's driven in 41. He leads American League shortstops in homers. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's that slider for you, Brownie.
Yeah. Tough pitch. Hard to pick it up.
Well, that almost starts breaking leftward there the instant it leaves the hand.
Correa fouls it. Correa has joined select company with 15 homers before he turns 21. Elias Sports Bureau does some great research and has uncovered this. Only 2 of the players in Major League history who hit at least 15 homers before turning 21 did so in fewer games than Correa. The chase percentage on the off-speed pitch is very good for Archer. Willie Mays hit his 15th homer in 55 games in 1951 when he was still 20. And Frank Robinson hit his 15th homer in his 58th game in 1956 as a 20-year-old.
Gonna let a couple of guys like that go by you?
Fouled away.
There's that right field stroke that won the ball game last night, and what a great at bat that was. Had that right side of the infield presented to him and was able to take advantage. But you see how he stays on the ball and that right shoulder almost driving toward right field.
This is a Thursday night crowd watching the finale of the season series between the two. That's strike 3 called. 2 outs. Correa just standing there looking back at DJ Rayburn without making a comment.
I think that shake of the head is accurate. I think he just got rung up on a pitch that may have been away.
Question is, did that pitch ever cross home plate?
I would say not a chance with that straight, if not even coming back toward the plate type of action. But it's the way the game goes.
Colby Rasmus is the batter. Carlos Gomez on deck. The infield plays him to pull. Strike 1 to Colby with 17 homers, 44 runs batted in, and a .232 batting average. He is 0 for 9 in this series. And 2 for 17 on the homestand. But in August, he has an .865 OPS. High for a ball. It's 1-1. Well, both these starting pitchers are well aware that their bullpens have been taxed in this series. And both clubs have made roster moves to get an extra reliever onto their club for this game tonight. Swing, and here's the throw by Rivera, and it's there. Altuve sliding into the tag. He took off when he saw that pitch in the dirt, and he was gunned down by Rivera. Scoreless after 1. Probably watch Craig Biggio a few times. Loney leads it off in the second inning. There is strike one to Loney. Loney at 266 has 4 homers, 24 runs batted in. Loney is 1 for 10 in this series with an RBI. It's 1-1. In addition to being able to come in early at 3:30, that Hall of Fame plaque is being brought in by Brad Horn, a Houston native who works for the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And that will be available for photos after the first pitch of the game in Union Station. 2 balls and a strike, so you can get your photo taken with that Hall of Fame plaque for Craig Biggio for a $7 charitable donation. And the festivities on the field start at 5:15 Saturday. Altuve backhands on to Marwin Gonzalez, 1 out. Logan Forsythe will be next. We've been impressed by Forsythe and his hitting in this series, Ash.
Thoroughly. Yeah, watching his at-bats against Dallas Keuchel and against all the others, they look like a guy who is kind of that seasoned vet that you know is going to hit 300 all the time. You see the numbers are not 300, but what he's doing at the plate, I think would lead a lot of people down in the game to think this guy's got a chance of being a very good, solid hitter.
He takes in their strike one. He has 5 hits in this series. Among Major League second basemen, he ranks 4th in runs batted in, tied for 3rd in homers, and 4th in on-base average. The roller goes out to shortstop. Correa charging hard. Quick transfer and a low throw in time to get him. He had to come a long, long way.
No laying back there. That's just that do or die play for any shortstop. Correa able to make the play. And Forsythe, along with being solid at the plate, is getting down the line well. Completely challenged Correa on that play. Marwin doesn't get a whole lot of love at first base, but he's picked a number of throws this year.
Excellent play by Marwin. Correa at 6'4" really shows the ability to get down on those low plays like that, and with that 6'4" frame, it's a more difficult play than for a 5'8" shortstop, we'll say. There's ball 1 to Cabrera. Cabrera's been a tough out lately. He was absolutely ripping the ball for the month of August when this series started. He slowed down a little bit in this series.
Watch this curveball from Colin. Pretty close to right over the top. And he took enough off that he had the hot hitter out in front.
Breaking pitch, good for a strike. It's 1-2. This year compared to last year, Colin McHugh's curveball, he's thrown it outside more often, and the chase percentage on it is higher. Foul back, still 1-2. In the early going, it's Detroit 2, Texas nothing. And Fredo Simon has a no-hitter through 4 1/3 in Detroit against the Rangers and Martin Perez. Rangers are 4 behind the Astros. They're 61-58. The Angels play later tonight at home against the White Sox. Curveball gets a swing and a miss. That's a chase pitch, and it's a strikeout. Number 1 of the night for Colin McHugh, who has retired the first 6 in order.
Tonight.
Colby Rasmus is back at the plate. Gets a fresh count here in the second inning. He was at 1-1 when Jose Altuve took off and was ruled to have been caught stealing from 2 to 6. 30 and 28 lifetime. Chris Archer has a 3.25 ERA. Rolled out to second base. No sign with a quick flip on to Loney. 1 out here in the home second inning. And Archer You might have noticed the 2 complete games on that graphic. One of those came against the Astros in 2013, a 5-0 shutout at Tampa Bay with no walks and 8 strikeouts. A 5-hitter for Archer. They made up a bobblehead of him with his reaction after getting the final out of that, which was his first complete game shutout at the time. Carlos Gomez is back in the lineup. 250 with 9 homers, 47 runs batted in for Gomez. He's hitting 197 as an Astro. And then strike 1 on the slider. Gomez was held out of the lineup last night. Had not been feeling good.
Better stay on that pitch if you're going to get a piece.
He looks at it and it's 1-1. Archer's one tough cookie. 10-9 last year. 1 hopper. Longoria turns it into out number 2. Evan Gattis follows. Gattis has hit in his last 3 games. Leads the club in runs batted in with 62. He has 18 homers and a .238 average. RBI number 62 was a big one last night. In the bottom of the 9th inning with a runner at third and 1 out, and the infield in. He had the RBI single, and that tied the game. He looks at ball 1. It's the Indians 3, the Yankees 1. They're in the top of the 5th at Yankee Stadium in New York. Yankees still holding down first place in the AL East. Strike call makes it 1-1. Yankees are leading Toronto by 2 games. Two balls, 1 strike. Ivan Nova is doing the pitching for the Yankees tonight, and A-Rod hit his 26th home run off Josh Tomlin of Cleveland. Astros will be in Yankee Stadium Monday through Wednesday. 3 balls and a strike, but they have a date with the Dodgers here this weekend. Dodgers are off tonight in Houston. Tomorrow night it's Mike Fiers and Brett Anderson. 3-2 to Evan Gattis.
They not only have a date with the Dodgers, they have a date with the Dodgers aces on the mound in a couple of those games.
Saturday night at 6:10, Scott Kazmir and Zach Greinke. Sunday at 1:10, Lance McCullers and Clayton Kershaw. Gattis strikes out after 2, no score. Can keep doing what he's been doing. He's retired the first 6. Desmond Jennings puts one on the ground into right field for an opposite field hit, leading it off here in the 3rd. The official score, well, we'll get to this later.
Desmond Jennings last night looked like a guy who just wasn't feeling his oats. That's a great job on that fastball left up by Colin.
The announcement just came. The official score changed the ruling on Jose Altuve. It was not a caught stealing in the 1st inning because he didn't leave until the ball hit the dirt. So simply a 2-6 play. Kevin Kiermaier at 251 has 5 homers. He's driven in 27. The Astros infielders playing him to pull. Valbuena's in really close. That's ball 1. Over the years, we've talked about this many times, so people are probably tired of it. There are the WAR leaders. Mike Trout at 7.1. Kevin Kiermaier at 5.2. Is that a surprise to you?
11 triples. Are those that valuable?
Evidently so. Well, that factors in defensive play, and he's a defensive whiz.
Yeah, he's been really good in center field. We often talk about the center fielders the Astros have had, and primary among them Jake Marisnick, but there are some other teams that will tout some guys that can go get it.
In the 1976 World Series, Pete Rose played third base for the Reds. Mickey Rivers was the leadoff man for the Yankees, and he was an outstanding bunter. Just looking at where Valbuena is right now, Rose played a lot closer to home plate even than that, and completely got into Mickey Rivers' head, who was not able to put a bunt down or hit the ball by him in that World Series.
In effect, that's a shift in my book.
Yeah.
When you move a guy around like that, it takes away that bunt part of the game, and something Mickey Rivers really relied upon.
It's dinner time.
It's always dinner time.
Runner takes off. Here's no throw now, and it's ball 4. That's why Kiermaier takes the walk. Castro almost went into contortions to avoid making that throw. Probably didn't hear the call early enough, and then he was almost ready to release that ball when he decided not to throw it.
There's a little communication that goes on between catcher and umpire, and it happens most of the time in that scenario. Let me know as quickly as you can. And so as you catch the ball, you're hoping to hear ball, and maybe it came just a fraction late for Jason.
Now 2 men on, nobody out for catcher Rene Rivera. The Astros move the corner infielders in close. Jennings a runner at second. Rivera, the number 9 hitter, could be bunting. Showing bunt, he takes, and it's ball 1. With a 183 average, that might cause people to think about a bunt here. 5 homers, 25 runs batted in for Rivera. He has 1 extra base hit in 40 at bats since the All-Star break. Takes a cut there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. And of course, a couple of things come up here. Generally, the manager of the team on the road doesn't play for 1 run early in the game, but here there are 2 men who could be moved up with a bunt. So in effect, that would be playing for 2 runs if the bunt were executed properly. He puts it down. McHugh throwing to first, and the sacrifice is accomplished. 1 out.
Kick off your weekends right here at Minute Maid Park. Every Friday night home game is followed by the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is tomorrow. That's August 21st, when the Astros take on the Dodgers. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
There will also be Saturday night fireworks after the Craig Biggio themed game Saturday night. John Jaso has been a real RBI man lately. Only 13 for the season, but lately he's been driving in runs. 4 for his last 5 with runners in scoring position. Strike to Jaso. The Astros infielders are back, except for Marwin Gonzalez, the first baseman. And 7 out of 10 times he's delivered the runner from third with less than 2 outs. Popped up. Bueno over to foul ground. That's an awfully big out for Colin McHugh. Out number 2. That's the other thing about a sacrifice punt. The manager is giving up an out. So that means the guys after that sacrifice bunt are charged with coming through.
I think people might be surprised at the percentage of times a hitter, major league hitter, will get a runner in from third base with less than 2 outs. It feels like that it should be 90% of the time, but it just doesn't play out that way.
No, it does not. Grady Sizemore grounded out his first time up. Well, we could consider that 300 is a good batting average. 3 times out of 10, getting a runner in from third is not good. Good stop there to save a run, perhaps, by Castro. Ball 1.
But you're mixing in the fly balls and occasionally the ground ball, depending on where it gets hit, and yet there come those pop-ups and the strikeouts that get in the way of driving the runs in.
That's a nice stop by Castro to prevent the runners from moving up. flared foul, and this one will go out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike to Sizemore. Pittsburgh leads San Francisco 2-0. They're in the middle of the 6th inning at Pittsburgh. Charlie Morton versus Jake Peavy. Last night the Giants lost, and Bruce Bochy, their manager, decided to use Madison Bumgarner as a pinch hitter, trailing by 1 in the 9th inning. And he was asked about it because he had other regular position players available. He said, well, he gave me my best chance for a homer. Pulled foul.
Trying to think of the numbers. 4 home runs last year or 3 for Bumgarner?
Well, I don't know last year, but he has 10 for his career.
Yeah, I think 7 in the last 2 seasons, with 3 this season. So
that's legit.
For a guy that's playing once every 5 days, you better believe it.
Upstairs, the Rays were really ripping the ball in the month of August, averaging 5 runs per game when this series started, and they continued to do that with a 9-2 win here Monday night. Then they lost 3-2 in 10 Tuesday night, 3-2 in 13 last night. That's hammered foul. Got out in front a little bit. Derek Shelton is the hitting coach for Tampa Bay. Well, the coaches really wear one like that, don't they, when they come to the ballpark the next day after all the hours they put in getting ready for a game, and then all the men left on base, opportunities and extra innings. Now the Rays have lost 8 straight extra inning games.
Wow.
3-2 now.
Love to hear the explanation here. Is that away? Is it up? Let's see what we can find out. That is neither. That is a strike. And we've seen just a lot with this particular umpiring crew. A lot of pitches in our strike box that have not been called strikes.
Rod Collins said, come on. Now a big 3-2 pitch with 2 outs and runners at second and third. And ball 4 creates a bases loaded jam for Longoria now.
One pitch, not getting it as a pitcher when you should otherwise, can set up a night that just goes all wrong.
Longoria hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Evan with 6 hits in this series. 3 career grand slams for Longoria, and this year he is 4 for 8 with the bases loaded and 9 runs batted in. High drive left field. Tucker backing. Tucker at the base of the wall, and that is a big out, number 3 with the bases loaded. Colin McHugh getting out of third inning trouble with no runs a hit, 3 men stranded, and a scoreless game. Loaded to end the top of the inning. Now it's Luis Valbuena leading it off in the bottom half. Chris Archie deals in at strike 1 to Valbuena, who has 21 homers to lead the club, 43 runs batted in, and a .209 average. Valbuena fouls it back. Luis is 1 for 10 in this series. He's hit .298 in his last 16 games. Back at third base tonight with Jed Lowry getting a rest. A strikeout. That counts for out number 1. That's number 4 for Archer.
Well, this team is definitely inclined to strike out. And you talked about it, 19 punch-outs last night. And this is a guy on the mound tonight that strikes out a lot of hitters.
He and Colin McHugh are 2 pitchers among the top 4 who throw the most sliders. Preston Tucker with a pop-up. Longoria. That is another out, and only a walk to Altuve, who was later erased. Mars the sheet of Chris Archer for this game. He has made a strong comeback from that last start at Texas.
A good pitch to handle right there. Preston didn't even know where the ball was.
%43 on his breaking ball. That's the third highest in the majors. Jason Castro has 10 homers. He fouls that one away. Strike one to Castro with a .211 batting average and 29 runs batted in for Jason.
Brownie, that's a pretty intriguing stat on Archer with the high percentage of breaking balls when you consider that he's a mid-90s kind of heater guy.
True. And there you see it. No balls, 2 strikes. Archer came out of the gate with a 0.84 ERA for the month of April and made the All-Star team. One and two, just 26 years old, from Raleigh, North Carolina. He was drafted by Cleveland in '06. Tampa Bay got him in a trade before the 2011 season for Matt Garza at that time with Chicago. So a couple of teams had a shot at Chris Archer, and he got away and really blossomed in this Tampa Bay organization. Last year he had 194 innings pitched. Opening day starter for the Rays this season. Tigers 3, Rangers nothing. Top of the 6th in Detroit. Alfredo Simon pitching a beauty so far. In tight, and it's 2-2.
Up to 98 on that one.
This is the 3rd career start for Archer in this ballpark. He does not have a win here. 3-2. He made an error here against Jared Cozart in a game in June of 2014 that cost him 5 unearned runs. Swing and a miss at what appeared to be ball 4, but instead it's a strikeout. Number 5, Archer has faced just 9 through 3 innings, and there's no score. Available tonight, that's one question. Bouncer up the middle, behind the back, McHugh. 1 out.
There's an epidemic of this play going on in Major League Baseball. I think there have been, now with this one, at least 3 in the last week. Let's see if we get our peak. Yeah, that's routine.
Take that, Dallas Keuchel.
That's right. Is that how you vie for the Gold Glove?
Yep. Try to top him. Logan Forsythe grounded to shortstop earlier. Ball 1 to Forsythe. Cabrera on deck. Since the Astros moved to the American League, the Rays have gone 14-6 against Houston. Good game for Dallas last night. Fly ball near the right field line. Colby Rasmus over. And along the stands, he cannot make the play. One and one.
See what this play winds up turning into. Maybe just coming up short, anticipating that wall, maybe the fans.
Hit hard into left field. Forsythe given another chance. Comes through with a single.
I have to say, for the moment, that's the guy I would try to work around, not allowing him to beat you late in the game.
Yeah. He hits the ball hard. Cabrera comes up. He struck out in the second inning. Cubs lead Atlanta 4-0 at Wrigley. They're in the bottom of the third. Cabrera takes it, and it's ball one for McHugh. The Astros have won or split their last 11 home series. They're 42-20 in this ballpark, a .677 home winning percentage, tying them with Kansas City for the best in the American League. And the throw goes to first. Forsythe has 8 steals in 11 attempts. He stole a base last night. The Rays are 4th in the American League with 70 steals. Two balls, no strikes. Richard Justice is working on his speech for Saturday night. He's going to be among the speakers on the Craig Biggio program. Connor, Craig's son, older son, will speak. Art Howe, his first manager, will be there, and Jerry Hunsaker, Astros GM. Two balls and a strike, and of course, when Craig was on the big stage in Cooperstown, you see that swing and a miss. That's a good low pitch there for Colin McHugh.
Thought initially that might have been a change based on the reaction at the plate, but at 88, that would be a really hard change for Colin.
Yeah, it would be a hard change. Bounce foul. So Craig, you know, the approach to a national audience is different at the actual induction location there in Cooperstown than it will be. He'll have a chance to speak more to the Houston audience, even though it seemed like a Houston audience in Cooperstown. That was a great turnout by Astros fans.
Did you guys sit generally together?
Kind of spread out, but it was a large field with about 35,000 people. Fun day. Fouled away.
Well shaded from the sun, I'm sure.
No, some of us got a little sunburn, but that's okay. Is he all right? Put the head down. That's always worrisome.
Hopefully that was just disappointment about the ball being all dirty and stuff.
Okay. Foul back. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I used to think about that. I'd see some of the balls that would come out perfect, allegedly, for a Major League Baseball game, and they're all rubbed up with that mud, and they looked awful. And I thought, boy, there's going to be some disappointed folks that get foul balls tonight.
That's the famous Lena Blackburn's rubbing mud from the Delaware River. And cans of that are shipped to every Major League ballpark for rubbing up the balls.
Didn't realize Lena was getting credit for that.
Yeah. Been the case for decades. Runner going. Pull foul. Rattles around in the seats. Watch out down there, Bart Ennis.
That was a missile, guys.
Hey, Bart, somebody on Twitter is calling you Hockey Bart.
It just won't go away. Boy, you do something for a couple of years and you're, you're marked.
Shoots and scores.
Yep, he shoots, he scores. Kick, save, and a beauty.
Off the plate, 3 balls, 2 strikes to Cabrera now. Forsythe may be running at first with 1 out. Jennings is on deck. In that Cubs-Braves game, 4-0 Cubs, top of the 4th inning. Jake Arrieta is pitching very well. His ERA right now is 2.35. Mike Foltynewicz going for Atlanta tonight, former Astro. 3-2, runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw, the runner goes back, and he makes it. 2 outs on the strikeout of Cabrera. That's number 2 for Colin McHugh.
Forsythe very fortunate, or maybe smart, about not going right there, because Jason Castro just put a laser on the bag. Cannot do it better than that.
He did gun that one.
Apparently some dirt came flying into the eyes of Castro.
DJ Rayburn's going to buy Jason a little time by dusting off home plate, even though it doesn't need dusting. Professional courtesy by the umpire. Yeah, he's still squinting with that right eye, apparently troubled. Jennings singled to right field. He became the first base runner for the Rays tonight, leading off the 3rd inning. Right there for strike 1.
Look at that footwork. Just ideal.
All that dirt came from him slamming the bat into the ground.
Well, you wouldn't expect that dirt to come up like that, but
no.
You could see the reaction and the timing there.
Swing, and it gets away from Castro, and here's the advance to second by Forsythe on strike 2.
I assume the ball hit the glove of Castro right there. Turns into a wild pitch, but oftentimes if the leather gets involved, the ball will kick at an angle.
4th wild pitch of the year for McHugh.
See what this comes off. Late drop, and the glove comes up and it catches the ball, does that heel of the glove, then off the chest protector. Just kind of ruins the angles.
Well, the home plate umpire didn't have the count right, did he? Astros are trying to correct him. It's 0-2. Yeah, McHugh looked in, and there was some misunderstanding, but maybe DJ Rayburn did have it 0-2 all along. Curveball, foul, third base side. Nationals nothing, Rockies nothing. In the bottom of the 2nd in Colorado with Max Scherzer on the mound for the Nats. They won last night. They're trying to turn things around. They've pulled it within 3.5 of the Mets. One ball, 2 strikes. So Washington has some ground to make up. 3 back in the loss column, 3.5 behind the New York Mets. The Mets now are planning to skip some of their young starting pitchers in the rotation to avoid piling up more innings. In the dirt for ball 2.
It's also where things could go wrong for the Mets.
That's going to be of a lot of interest in these races in September now. Can the Mets hang on? Can the Nationals put their problems behind them and get everything together? Broken bat looper. That'll get a run home and make it 1-0 Tampa Bay on a single by Jennings. Right off the end of the bat, and Jennings picks up his 4th run batted in.
And to this point, key in the inning, that wild pitch. Just a good pitch down and away. You can't spot it better in the strike zone than that. And yet Jennings, who had the rough night with the bat last night, 2 for 2 tonight.
Forsythe reached right after that ball fell just out of the reach of Colby Rasmus in foul territory with the single. Then you talked about the wild pitch getting him to second. So Tampa Bay has been able to capitalize on a couple of things here.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even reflected back on that ball that was untouched by Colby down the right side. If that ball's caught, you're not dealing with any of it.
Kiermaier walked first time up. That's strike one to him with Rivera on deck. Big weekend here with the Dodgers and Astros meeting in interleague play starting tomorrow night. Brett Anderson, the lefty who has local roots, will be pitching for Los Angeles tomorrow night against Mike Fiers. Game time 7:10. Ooh, bouncer back to McHugh. He knocks it down. He stumbled throwing the pitch and wound up hitting out number 3. Spikes must have caught, but it works out. Although Tampa Bay does take a 1-0 lead. Has faced the minimum of 9 through 3 innings. The roller goes to Longoria's right. He lets it go by him, and it's a foul ball. He could not have thrown out Altuve, so it was the right decision.
Jose seems to have an uncanny ability to take some swings on tough pitches and hit this little topper roller, and he'll get a bunch of hits over it. This one, Longoria just simply outsmarted the ball.
Strike one to Altuve. Gonzalez and Correa to follow in the Houston 4th. That's yanked foul. 0-2.
This is what Jose is doing a lot of here in the last 7 to 10 days. Putting the barrel on the ball, and I mean to all fields.
Upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jose Altuve as they settle in the Insperity Club. Altuve had a couple of hits last night. His 13th inning single as the shortstop went to cover really set it up for the Correa game winner. He strikes out. Number 6 for Archer.
Obviously not a strike in the end, but when it leaves the hand, apparently it appeared close enough for Jose.
Marwin Gonzalez struck out in the first inning. Now people are chiming in on Twitter about Hockey Bart, including Adrian Pat Patterson. He was the Sports Sunday director for Hockey Bart. Ground ball foul.
My favorite was, I remember him covering golf, and the guy putted the ball and it rolled, and Hockey Bart, as the ball goes in the cup, he said he shoots and scores.
Actually, Ash, I came down to spring training when you were a player, and you were featured in an episode of Hockey Bart.
Uh-oh. What did I do?
I'm sure you remember it quite well.
What did I do, Bart?
The highlight of your career, I'm sure. I don't know. I was making fun of you out there for some reason or whatsoever. I think you took a swing at me or something. I don't know.
That was easy pickings if you were working on me.
Absolutely. That's why I did it. You take your cheap shots when you can get them.
Maybe I was taking my bat and slamming it in the bat rack, and that was shooting and scoring, huh?
Shooting and scoring, absolutely. That was a lot of fun.
Well, Bart, you've had some fun this homestand. You've been doused after games.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to stay quick. Got to be able to backpedal.
You have one more in you?
I hope so. Although it'd be nice to take a big lead and, coast to a win.
Right, and not get wet.
Are you warning Brownie, or are you describing your own skills?
A little of both, actually.
Popped up. Loney underneath. 2 outs. And it's Correa next.
Time now for our AT&T Rewind. Carlos Correa last night, the game winner right there. Had the hole on the right side. Shot it that way. Just looks like he can do what he wants at will so much of the time. And a back-to-back extra inning walk-off victory for the club.
First career walk-off for Carlos Correa. He struck out looking in the first inning tonight. Other Astro players who had walk-off hits before turning 21 included Rusty Staub, Joe Morgan, and Cesar Cedeno. And all of them wound up with 2,000 hits or more.
That is a glossy list right there.
It is. 2-0 to Carlos. And he was asked by the game after the game last night by one of the reporters, well, did you think they would walk you intentionally in the 13th inning? And he said, no, why? I'm 20 years old. 2-1.
You know, he even knows the right things to say, even though for me it was absolutely the wrong thing to face him.
Well, in the 8th inning last night, that was a powerful inning for Alex Colomé. He struck out the side, and then Brad Boxberger came in for the 9th. Gave up the tying run on the Gaddis hit. Broken bat looper. Forsythe does make the running catch, and it's a good one. Through 4 no-hit innings, Chris Archer and the Rays lead the Astros 1-0. Bullpen. He's gone back for that surgery, and he's been replaced on the roster by lefty Andy Romero. Rivera with strike 1. And the Astros have made a bullpen move as well, recalling right-hander Vincent Velasquez. And Josh Fields has been optioned to Double-A Corpus Christi. No balls, 2 strikes. Part of the situation here is that, of course, Josh Fields is pitching well. He has an ERA of 0 in the month of August, but only a certain number of players have options available.
And among them, one of them pitched 3 of the last 4 days out of the bullpen.
Right. Line drive to right, a hit in front of Rasmus. On the 0-2 pitch, Rivera gets aboard.
Astros baseball offers incredible savings, such as the all-you-can-eat seats at Minute Maid Park, available every game. This incredible deal offers endless savings and scores you a ticket and unlimited ballpark favorites starting at only $35. For more information, visit astros.com/value, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
John Jaso's 0 for 2. He takes strike 1, so certainly not a negative for Josh Fields, but the Astros just needed a fresh arm, and he was one of those optionable players who had been pitching a lot and would not have been available for this game tonight. Pull foul. Now the rules are that a player optioned to the minors must remain in the minors for 10 days unless there is an injury to, in this case, another pitcher. So if somebody on the Astros pitching staff were to go on the disabled list, Josh Fields could be back sooner than 10 days. Fly ball left field over toward the corner. Tucker with a long run gets there and has it. 1 out. Sizemore will follow. If you're thinking about postseason roster eligibility, Josh Fields could come back, we'll say, in 10 days. This is August 20th, so he could be back on the 30th or 31st and be on the Astros 25-man roster before September 1st, which would make him playoff eligible. Sizemore grounded to first, and he walked. All those things have to be considered very carefully by major league clubs this time of year.
Yeah, that was quite a birthday for Josh Fields, wasn't it? Happy birthday. You get out there and pitch. You pick up a W. And by the way, you're heading to the minor leagues.
Yeah. Second straight year he's won on his birthday. So Josh Fields, who's 4-1 with that low ERA of 2.20, really has an excellent year going. The Astros will need him back in the bullpen.
That's where the game is going now, with different restraints on starting pitchers. The need to keep bringing guys in for bullpens. You've got to circulate some guys from the minor leagues.
That's hit to right field, backing up Rasmus, and then over. for out number 2. Why did Josh Fields go to Corpus Christi? Probably because it's close, and this is an issue now. If the Astros had wanted to call up a pitcher from Fresno and get him here tonight, the last time they called up, I believe it was Dan Straley, he had to get up at 3 in the morning to arrive in Arlington, Texas, because of the time difference. That's a difficult travel situation compared to having a AAA club at Oklahoma City.
Matter of convenience then.
Sure. Longoria is 0 for 2. That's ball 1.
And very close to have hit one to the first row in left field and provided 4 runs.
Yes, it was. Tucker caught it up against the scoreboard in left. In for a strike. 1-1 to Longoria. Fresno pounded away on Round Rock last night, 7-0 in Fresno. 5 more wins and they tie the club record for wins in a season. Altuve to his left. Gets Longoria. Leadoff single by Rivera. No runs, a hit. The man left. 1 land. And Ben Gottfried is one of their players. Colby Rasmus fouls it back, strike 1. We mentioned Ben Gottfried because we found out that former Astros front office executive David Gottfried is the father of Ben. Carlos Gomez on deck. Evan Gattis due up third with a no-hitter through 4 for Chris Archer and a 1-0 lead. He's had 1 base runner, a leadoff walk to Altuve. Ground ball, and there goes the no-hitter. It works every time, almost.
You are a very powerful man.
Rasmus with an infield single.
Ground ball to straight up second base. Looks like the changeup grip. Colby stays back just enough to get it.
Colby's aboard for Carlos Gomez, who grounded out in the second inning. Gomez now with 3 hits in his last 39 at bats. That's strike 1. A little league photo of Colby Rasmus.
Where is Colby in this one? Oh, yes.
There he is.
Yes.
Phoenix City, Alabama.
Little shorter hair back then.
In the air to center field, Kiermaier. Rasmus will go back to tag, but Kiermaier has a tremendous arm. So he'll just draw a throw, and watch this. Ooh, doctor. Check out that throw.
Yeah, so that was part of the defensive strength of Kiermaier. 12 assists on the season.
Man, what an arm.
It's one of the things I love about Jake Marisnick. Great throwing arm and accuracy to go with it.
Right on the money, Ash.
It's obvious that he's got some defensive skills, and offensively he utilizes the speed well.
Evan Gattis looks at ball 1. 12 outfield assists for Mr. Kiermaier. Wouldn't be prudent. Gattis struck out looking in the second. In the dirt. 2-0. Red Sox 4, Royals 1, top of the 8th inning. Mike Moustakas hit his 12th home run of the year. Wade Miley, though, pitched well for 7, giving up 6 hits and 1 run for the Sox. Valpuentas on deck. Strike makes it 2-1. Last night, Rays pitchers struck out 19 Astros, and they walked only 2 and lost. rip to center field. Kiermaier back for this one, and he gets up and makes a catch. Tremendous play by Kiermaier. Try somebody else.
There was potential for 3 bags all over that thing. I think that ball carried more than Kiermaier initially thought it would. That is on the sweet spot. That center field is going to change come next year.
That might be about where the wall is next year, where he landed. Luis Valbuena. Loney. No runs a hit and a man left after 5. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Colin McHugh, who has given up 4 hits, all singles, and the 1 run was driven in by Desmond Jennings, who has 2 of the hits. Ball 1 to Loney. It's even at 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1 for Colin McHugh. Collins won his last 5 decisions here at Minute Maid Park. Got a no decision last time out when he came up against Justin Verlander, who pitched really well, and so did Colin. Fouled into the seats, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to James Loney. We were talking earlier about the Pearland Little League team. Mr. Loney, as we've been talking throughout this series, a product of the outstanding Houston Amateur Baseball program from Elkins High School. That team was #1 in the nation when he was there. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and we'll be seeing the Yankees' Chris Young in a few days. Another Houston native who's made a good career in the big leagues. There's a breakdown for Colin McHugh. Rip foul. It's been quite a 1-2 punch, Keuchel and McHugh this year. When McHugh and Keuchel are starting, the Astros record is 32-17. Got him on a breaking pitch. Only strikes out.
Just takes some off again on that curveball. He's had a good one tonight. Time now to name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Who is that fella? Ryder Cruz.
We did have some correct answers on Twitter.
Yeah. That was a big arm. And really could have been anticipated to make it in a strong fashion out of the bullpen.
Yeah. Forsythe looks at ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Let's see, we had a guess, Fernando Martinez, Nate Fryman, Henry Rodriguez, Wesley Wright. Who's some of the other guesses. 2 balls and 1 strike. And there is Vincent Velasquez just rejoining the Astros after some relief work at Corpus Christi.
Love to see that arm be able to be a part of some victories late in the ball game. Maybe in that setup kind of role. No telling where he might wind up. I think his future is as a starter.
Well, and Sunday, Lance McCullers rejoins the Astros and starts against the Dodgers' Clayton Kershaw. So both Velasquez and McCullers will be back together again. Foul back, and both have been awfully impressive at the big league level this year.
So McCullers gets Clayton Kershaw on Sunday.
Yes. Scott Kazmir gets Zach Greinke Saturday night. Greinke has a 1.58 ERA. Kershaw 2.34. Foul back. Dave Hudgens, the Astros hitting coach, has been chatting it up with the Astros players about that pairing that they'll be facing Saturday and Sunday, and that's not to slight Brett Anderson. Brett Anderson goes Friday night. His ERA is 3.48. But of Greinke and Kershaw facing pitchers of that caliber, he said, well, that's what you get in the playoffs. Deep drive to center field. Gomez backing. 2 outs. So let's check out what the matchups are. Brett Anderson and Mike Fiers, Zach Greinke and Scott Kazmir, Clayton Kershaw and Lance McCullers.
Yeah, that's an accurate comment. You get into the postseason where you want to be. You better be ready to face this kind of pitching. That's kind of extreme when you talk Greinke and Kershaw.
But tonight's starter, Chris Archer, is up there among the top, the elite pitchers.
Yeah, agreed. His stuff is on the high end, to be sure.
Cabrera has struck out both times tonight. He fouls that one away. There's strike 1. The Astros set to face the first place Dodgers in the NL West starting tomorrow night. They have a 2-game lead on the Giants as they enjoy a night off tonight. And then the Yankees, another first place club, awaiting them Monday through Wednesday with a 2-game lead over Toronto. Both those clubs in tight races in their divisions. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's Detroit 4, Texas nothing. Bottom of the 8th in Detroit. In for a strike. 1 and 2. Keuchel and McHugh have combined for 27 wins. That's the most by any pair of teammates in the majors this year. And a punch out. Makes it a 1-2-3 6th inning. 4 strikeouts tonight for Colin McHugh. 1-0 Tampa Bay in the 6th. Tucker popped to third on the first pitch thrown to him. Preston takes strike 1. Jason Castro's on deck, and then Jose Altuve comes up third in the inning. Upstairs for ball 1. Rangers are batting in the top of the 9th, trailing Detroit 4-0. The Rangers have 1 hit through 8 innings off Alfredo Simon. He's thrown 104 pitches. Little nubber. Archer over. 1 out. Jason Castro will follow. He struck out in the 3rd.
Pretty good athlete right here. Took his time, though. He knew his runner, knows his arm. Fairly easy play in the end.
So Castro will try to rip one here. Archer's given up 14 homers in 165 innings this year. Ball 1. Earlier we were talking about the Astros AAA Fresno club. By the way, they're 17-1 in August with a 2.89 ERA and averaging 7.2 runs per game. And talked about the travel distance between Fresno and Houston. So some people might have the question, if they don't know, well, then why would the Astros have an agreement they had a AAA club, as you know, in Oklahoma City. The contract ended. The Dodgers bought the Oklahoma City team and claimed that as their AAA club, so the Astros had to find another. 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, the Dodgers had that long running agreement with Albuquerque, but that was one of those sites where the ball just flew forever, and I imagine they wanted to kind of balance things out and see what they had in terms of pitching and hitting.
Well, 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's an excellent point. And the Fresno club plays in that same division of the PCL with the ballparks at altitude, like Las Vegas and El Paso, where the ball really flies. So that needs to be taken into consideration when looking at numbers from the players. Strikeout, and that is number 7 for Archer.
Archer's got it all, and we're starting to see the changeup mixed in with that great slider and the fastball. Mid-90s. It's a rare combo, and he's really good.
Jose Altuve drew a 4-pitch walk in the first inning, and he struck out in the 4th. He rips a liner, and it's caught. Good catch there by the ball boy.
Nice job.
Excellent play.
Future major leaguer right here. Yeah, I'm sure he saved somebody from a tough evening.
Yes, he did. He's done that before. Good work down the left field line.
I think that made that young man's night.
Would have. Well, you know, he's probably smiling because of all the thank yous he's getting from behind him. 1-1.
Tell his buddies, are you aware that last year's batting champ just hung out his best shot at me, and I took it like it was nothing?
I saved an entire section at Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, he did.
That's a power pitch. 1-2.
97 in that location. Not sure that got the plate, but can't do it much better than that.
Smoke coming from out of that baseball. Altuve strikes out. That's 8 through 6 innings for Archer. He leads it 1-0. Scott Feldman, 7 innings, 2 runs. They trailed 2-1, and they rescued that one. Fly ball to center field. Off the bat of Jennings is 2 for 2 and has driven in the only run. One pitch, one out here. Even though the Astros starters have not had anything to show in the win column, their club has been able to pull games out in the last at bat with those last 2 strong starts. Kiermaier comes up. He has a walk and a ground out to the pitcher. With Keiko winning 14 and McHugh 13. It's the first time the Astros had 2 pitchers with at least 13 wins since 06. Roy Oswalt won 15 in 06, and Andy Pettit had 14 wins. Ball 1 to Kiermaier. It's 2-0. Now, Tony Sepp is warming up in the Astros bullpen. McHugh closing in on the 100 pitch mark. So that's been a dynamic twosome. And for a strike, 2-1. Foul ball makes it 2-2 now. Final now 4-0. Detroit beating Texas on a 1-hitter by Alfredo Simon. The Rangers now have lost number 59, and they're at the moment 4.5 behind the Astros. Kiermaier takes it. Full count to Kevin Kiermaier. Minnesota and Baltimore are scoreless. Top of the second in Baltimore. The Orioles averaging 5 runs per game this month. They're only a half game out in the second wild card race behind the Angels. Back to McHugh. 2 outs. It'll be Rene Rivera coming up.
Colin and the Astros are trailing right now, but this might be as well as we've seen Colin work it all night long on the course of the year. Just no lapses throughout the evening.
Nope. Rivera has one of the 4 singles he's allowed. Also has a sac bunt tonight. The attendance is 18,177. Yanked toward the left field wall. That one hops the wall, kicks high. Barehanded by Tucker, who fires into second. Outstanding play by Preston Tucker. Rivera settles for a single.
Pretty amazing. You get a guy not hitting a full $2, and he comes out here against the stuff of Colin McHugh and gets himself a couple of knocks and a sac bunt. I don't know that the barehanded effort here saves any time. Watch the timing. If that was the glove, you'd have the same swing of the arm the whole bit. Not sure that's advised there.
John Jaso takes it. It's ball 1 to Jaso. He's 0 for 3. Even with the Rangers lost tonight at Detroit 4-0, they have a winning record on the road, 33-29. But they go back to 2 games over 500 now at 61-59. In for a strike, and it's 1-1. They had an offensive resurgence recently. Had a number of players who had been hitting better. Martin Perez takes the loss tonight in Detroit. Strike 2, 1-2. 107 pitches for Colin.
He's bent this curveball a number of times tonight.
It's a pitch he's thrown very effectively. He gets a strikeout with it. That's number 5, probably his last pitch of the night. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Hop to first. Carlos Correa is on deck. Colby Rasmus due up third in the Astros 7th inning. Up the middle, and the shortstop is there to play it. Cabrera, 1 out. Cabrera has made only 4 errors this year. Longoria has 7, so a total of just 11 miscues on the left side of the infield between those 2. Carlos Correa struck out looking, and he hit a looping liner caught in right field by Forsythe on the run. Rasmus will be next. Correa on a 5-game hitting streak. Has had a couple of looks at Archer. Takes the fastball for ball 1. Archer still throwing in the mid-90s, but he's only needed 73 pitches.
I think requirements clearly change from at bat to at bat. Right now for Carlos Correa, this for me is the time where you allow yourself to take some good hard swings, see if you can drive the baseball. Extra bases would be huge for the team right here.
Right-handed hitters have a .210 batting average this year against Archer. Ground ball third. Longoria backs up. 2 outs. Bart.
Thank you, Bill. Hey, fans, this Friday, be sure to check out Craig Biggio, Journey to Cooperstown. Our Kevin Eschenfelder sat down with Craig to discuss his journey to the Hall of Fame and his terrific playing career. It's a terrific interview. You won't want to miss this. First airing will be tomorrow. That's Friday at 5:30 here on Root Sports. It will re-air a couple of times. So if you want to set that DVR, if you can't be home to watch it for 5:30 Friday for the premiere of Craig Biggio, Journey to Cooperstown. Guys, back to you.
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, a lot of people will want to do that. Colby Rasmus single to right in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 2. That's ball 1. He got it through that shift between the shortstop and second baseman into right center his last time up. Carlos Gomez is on deck. One ball, one strike.
It's pretty remarkable for Archer. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. He struck out 8 on the night. And the next pitch is number 78.
Yeah. To center field, Kiermaier. After 7, 1-0 Tampa Bay.
That combo of numbers says he's having another good year. He had a great one last year for Houston. And the lefties have been dealt the biggest blow. Really strong since the All-Star break.
And he hopes to extend that streak in a 1-0 game. Trying to hold the line here after Colin McHugh in 7 innings allowed 5 hits, 1 run, walking 2, fanning 5. McHugh threw 108 pitches, 71 of them strikes. Sip last pitched on Monday. 2 innings of 1 hit shutout ball and Tampa Bay's 9-2 win. He's one of the few relievers in the Astros bullpen who's had a couple of days off. And we get a pinch hitter for Sizemore, Brandon Guyer. We give Kevin Cash a right-handed bat. Guyer takes, and there's strike 1 for Sip. Sizemore was 0 for 2 with a walk. Guyer at 266 has 5 homers, 23 runs batted in. He's had 233 at bats. Guyer swings at that one, falls behind, 0-2 in the count. Guyer had a 3-hit game last night. Guyer went 3 for 4 in Tampa Bay's 13-inning loss. He was 1 for 3 Monday night. He was the leadoff man in last night's game. Outside. 1-2. Guyer has reached base in a career high 11 straight games. That's what Kevin Cash is hoping he can do here with just a 1-0 lead. The Rays have left 6 to the Astros, 1 man left on base. Out to Altuve. Guns a throw over for out number 1. That might have been off the glove of Sip. He may have slowed it down some. He was reaching for it.
Ronnie, we were talking last night about the American League batting championship going on this year. Miguel Cabrera, a name you don't find at the top of the list right now, but 2 for 2 tonight. He's got that batting average up to 358, and
oh boy,
I think we both agree that if he stays healthy the rest of the way, he's likely going to get enough at bats to win it.
Evan Longoria is 0 for 3. Yeah, he certainly would have to be the front runner for many people. Hit sharply. Correa spins, throws to first, and offline. Longoria reaches on an infield hit. Good throw would have had him, but Correa had to jump quickly to his left, and then with that spin move, the throw sailed on him a little bit.
That came pretty close to Correa having to deal with the second base umpire. And I hope that didn't impact Carlos in trying to make that throw. He wouldn't tell you if it did.
It is an obstacle, though, on a play like that. James Loney is 0 for 3. You mentioned Sip doing so well against lefty hitters. .218 batting average for left-handed batters against Tony Sip. He has the excellent split-fingered changeup. There's strike one. And sometimes if a lefty has that pitch, it's one of his major weapons against right-handed batters, but some lefties don't like to throw that to lefty hitters.
In fact, a good percentage of lefty versus left and righty versus right struggle with that kind of an option.
You were talking about that before the game last night, Ash. Statistically, left-handed pitcher on left-handed hitter, is that the best matchup for the pitcher?
Yes, it is. Yeah, you can look at total numbers after a season and you'll find that obviously left-hand hitters against right-hand pitching, they do well, and right-hand hitters against lefty pitching also doing very well. The ones that are really struggling are the left-handed bats against lefty pitching, whereas the right-handed bats against right-hand pitching tend not to be impacted very much.
That's called a strike by DJ Rayburn. It's 1-2. Of course, right-handed hitters see a whole lot more right-handed pitching than lefty hitters see lefty pitching. In fact, down through the years, those tough left-handed starters quite often take them out, and it takes a really good left-handed hitter to make the lineup against them.
And yet some of the game's great statistical hitters over their careers have been left-handed hitters.
Yeah.
Guys that have figured out how to get it done against the lefties.
Well, a guy like Tony Gwynn was outstanding.
Well, George Brett was in that category. Wade Boggs, Rod Carew. You can name some guys that obviously weren't impaired by hitting against whoever went out there. But on the general storyline, lefty v lefty, it's going to win out for the pitcher.
It's Cleveland 3, the Yankees 2. They're in the bottom of the ninth now at Yankee Stadium. That's a shot on the ground, on through into left center field. Big turn at second by Longoria. The throw gets away. Sip backs it up, and Longoria cannot advance.
A little over exuberance there in center field. See, there's your lefty versus lefty struggle, as I suggested often happens.
Yeah, right. Hit it sharply for a single.
You want to make sure on that throw to give your third sacker a chance.
Well, he tried that throw on the run, and it did get away, but no error because the runners did not advance. Now it's Forsythe batting. He's 1 for 3. He singled and scored the only run of this game in the 4th inning. He advanced to second on a wild pitch, and Jennings drove him in with a hit to right center. That's ball 1 from Tony Sip. Fouled away. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count for Sip. Twelve scoreless innings for Tony since the All-Star break. He hasn't given up a run since July 5th at Boston. Chad Qualls is tuning it up for the Astros in the bullpen. Outside for ball 2. Obviously, it must have been a rain delay in Baltimore. There's Qualls working. The Twins got 5 in the second, and they lead the Orioles 5-0 in the bottom of the second inning now, with rookie left-hander Tyler Duffy pitching for Minnesota against Miguel Gonzalez. Byron Buxton in that Twins lineup tonight. He's returned from the minors. In for a strike, and it's 2-2 to Forsythe. Cabrera on deck.
Fortunate call there.
He got him on strikes. Big out. 2 down, and Cabrera comes up.
That's that split job you were talking about, Brownie. Not a great location, and yet getting the strikeout.
Well, sometimes it's more the different speed of the pitch than the location, right?
Hey, you get a good hitter trying to protect edges, and then you take something off, you get him out in front, and in this case, Tony Sipp wins out.
As Drupal Cabrera has struck out 3 times. And the switch hitter now will move to the right side, where he's a .297 hitter. He's hitting .252 left-handed this year. Cubs are pounding the Braves 7-0. They're in the top of the 7th at Wrigley behind Jake Arrieta. He's now out of the game after 6 innings. Strike to Cabrera. Arrieta now has given up just 12 earned runs in his last 12 starts. Pirates shut out the Giants 4-0 in Pittsburgh. On the edge for strike 2.
Tony Sipp says, keep it coming.
Charlie Morton offered that shutout to Pittsburgh with relief help. Peavy was the loser for the Giants. Neil Walker at his 13th homer. Pirates have just 4 losses in the last 22 home games at PNC Park. Well, the Pirates have whipped up on the NL West. They're 17-3 against the West. Best record of any team in the majors against a single division.
That's remarkable, facing the Dodgers and Giants.
It is. One and two. 32-year-old Tony Sipp from Pascagoula, Mississippi, in a tight 1-0 game in relief of Colin McHugh. Gomez, Gaddis, and Valbuena are due to bat for Houston in the home 8th inning. Chris Archer has given up 1 hit through 7. He's retired the last 9. Cabrera steps out. Cleveland down the Yankees 3-2 at Yankee Stadium. Josh Tomlin beat Ivan Nova. Allen got his 24th save. Struck him out. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. Sipp strikes out Forsythe and Cabrera. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay in the 8th.
been up as high as 98 with tonight. Over the top breaking ball, the vaunted slider and a changeup to go with it.
Carlos Gomez puts it in the air to shallow right field. Brandon Guyer, one pitch out. That's 10 straight retired by Archer now. Well, Gomez 0 for 3 tonight, and Evan Gattis will try next.
Yeah, part of the philosophy offensively against Archer, I don't want to say a guy like Archer because there aren't many, but you can try to take pitches and get deep in a count, and then he'll just bury you with one of those pitches. So sometimes you feel like I've got to get that first fastball I see.
He's lowered his ERA, as you saw, to under 1 against Houston. This is his 5th career start against the Astros. Gattis batting, taking strike 1. Archer has given up only a leadoff 5th inning single by Colby Rasmus. He walked Altuve, the first batter he faced in the game, on 4 pitches. Altuve was thrown out trying to go to second on a pitch in the dirt. So just 1 man left on base for Houston. 1-1. The Astros have been shut out 6 times this season. This is certainly a dominant performance by Archer.
I would say in watching Archer tonight, the Astros need that one big swing to get at least even in this ball game, then maybe take their chances later against the bullpen, because Archer's not going to give up a string of hits right now based on what he's doing.
He's dotting the corners.
The outside corner is starting to live large.
2-2. Archer has struck out 10 or more in 7 starts this year. Only Chris Sale has more in the American League. He has allowed no earned runs in 8 starts. That ties him with Dallas Keuchel and Scott Kazmir for the American League lead. And he's given up 1 earned run or fewer in 13 starts. Gattis fouls it. Good cut. Wade Miley and the Red Sox disposed of Kansas City at Fenway 4-1. Miley going to 10-9, beating Danny Duffy. He's 6-6. Junichi Tozawa got his 2nd save. Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, has seen Archer dial up some absolute gems this year. Now it's a full count for Gattis. Valbuena on deck. He struck him out. That's number 9.
Let's take a look now at tomorrow's pitching matchup, brought to you by Chevron. Mike Fiers. Mike Fiers goes out against Brett Anderson. It's really the only pitching matchup that you would not label as marquee, but 5-9 on the year from Mike Fiers. Trying to really get the role going as a starter with Houston.
Valbuena is 0 for 2. A strikeout and a ground out. Ball 1 to Valbuena. A.J. Hinch will use 6 different starting pitchers and then drop back to a 5-man rotation. 1-1. Tough sledding for these Astros hitters tonight. One ball, 2 strikes to Valbuena.
It's the changeup. And all the pitches are in that blender right now and coming out with equal success.
Strikeout number 10 for Archer ends the 8th inning. 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Been a busy man, and he's been successful with that busyness. It's coming off the DL, just lighten it up. Big time ground ball inducer. And you see the 125 batting average against in the 8 games thrown here in the month of August.
Qualls worked 1 inning last night, giving up 1 hit, no runs. He was in the game in the 8th. He inherited 2 runners and really pitched well, striking out the side. Desmond Jennings is 2 for 3 with the only RBI in the game. They strike 1 to him. Kiermaier and Rivera to follow in the Rays 9th. No action in the Rays bullpen. Very low pitch count through 8 for Chris Archer. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Tucker, Castro, and Altuve due up in the Houston 9th. This is the 4th appearance in the 7 games of this homestand for Chad Qualls. In the air and in the shallow right field, or maybe still on the infield for Altuve. 1 out.
Peek at Chad Qualls last night. Again, just pitching very well here in the month of August. And he's got it all working.
The Astros trailed at the time 2-1. Qualls inheriting those 2 runners, then gave up a single to Longoria. He had the bases loaded, striking out Forsythe and Cabrera to keep it close. Kiermaier bats now. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Infield shifted around on him. Strike for Qualls. It was July 10th that Chad came back from the disabled list with a pinched nerve in his neck. Since then, his ERA is 1.98, 3 earned runs allowed in 13 2/3 innings. One and one, and he has criticized himself for trying to pitch through that pinched nerve in the neck injury and not really throw up a red flag. It's 2-1. Pretty common, though, for a pitcher with that relief mentality of pitching 75, 80 times a year to try to plow through something that's uncomfortable. Two and 2 to Kiermaier.
I think that's the professional athlete way, though.
Yeah.
If it's not the way, the players that don't go that way don't generally earn a lot of respect from their teammates.
And that's part of the reason they keep trying to pitch through a problem. But he just noticed he wasn't able to make certain pitches. Liner to right. Rasmus comes over. Kiermaier with a huge turn. Good throw into second. A 1-out single by Kiermaier.
Kiermaier runs well. Stay tuned for the Astros postgame that's presented by Houston Methodist, and it also brings you Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton.
Kiermaier was running like a wild horse that just broke out of the corral.
It's a pretty good description. And he's got the speed, but he's all out. It's kind of the Pete Rose with speed kind of thing.
He has 13 steals in 15 attempts. Rene Rivera is 2 for 2 with a sac bunt. So there's Mike ready to throw over to first on Kiermaier. That's ball 1. Hit number 8 for Tampa Bay, all of them singles. Throw goes over to first. Archer does not have a complete game in his 25 starts this year. Archer threw 122 pitches in 6 2/3 innings against the Yankees. Foul back, so his pitch count would indicate no problem whatsoever.
A lot of times when a guy's on the move and the hitter swings, it's just pure circumstance, but I think that was a hit and run. It appeared that Rivera was taking a shot toward the right side.
Sure did. White Sox and Angels are underway, and they're tied 1-1 in the bottom of the second in Anaheim. Jose Quintana for Chicago, Nick Tropiano for the Angels. Here's the throw to second. It's a beauty, and he slides right into the tag. Kiermaier is out. Caught stealing from 2 to 4. What a great throw by Castro.
Yeah, that is a great throw by Jason. He continues to do that. Also a big assist to Chad Qualls. Nice little slide step throughout that entire sequence, and he gave his catcher a shot.
Perfectly placed on the throw to Altuve. Castro throws out his 18th of the season. He's thrown out 30%. And now 1-2 on Rivera. Two balls and 2 strikes. The Astros have only been shut out at home 3 times this season. And it hasn't happened since May 31st when the White Sox did it. Ball keeps the count at 2-2 for Rivera. Fouled away. Happy moment for them. Chop to third, Valbuena in. And that ends the top of the 9th. 1-0 with Tucker, Castro, and Altuve due up in the bottom half against Chris Engel, and 1 walk through 8 innings. Preston Tucker is 0 for 2. It goes to Archer. There's 1 out on 1 pitch. Now Jed Lowry will pinch hit for Jason Castro.
Trying to get that big swing, and Preston Tucker is one guy that can provide it, but is completely off, as are all the hitters tonight against Archer.
Jose Altuve's on deck. Lowry, a .222 career pinch hitter, has hit .267 this season. 5 homers, 17 runs batted in. This is his first pinch hit at bat this year. Ball 1 to Lowry. Castro was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Pat Neshek is working in the Houston bullpen. Fouled. 1-1. Lowry's 2 for 12 in this series. Jed had a double in the 9th inning last night, scored the tying run. He did not like the DJ Rayburn call of strike 2.
I think a number of hitters could have had good reason to complain here in recent innings.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The appeal went down to Rob Drake. Archer came out of a 0-0 game this year against Seattle in Tampa Bay, May 27th. 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 12 strikeouts, no decision. Strike 3, and now he's 1 out away from his first major league complete game shutout. 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, I think it was predictable early on in this game that it was going to be really tough to score on Archer with his stuff. Colin McHugh, nearly as good tonight. And big plaudit to Colin in the way he came out prepared.
Jose Altuve is one of only 2 Houston base runners tonight. Archer walked him on 4 pitches in the first inning. He has struck out twice since then. Slider, strike 1.
Starts him with that tight little slider. And Altuve clearly guessing got fooled.
Rolled to third. Longoria barehanding, throwing to first, and there's the first complete game shutout for Chris Archer. Win number 11. Tampa Bay shutting out Houston 1-0. All the hits in the game singles. A 4th inning RBI hit by Desmond Jennings holding up. And Tampa Bay now gains a split of this 4-game series. The Astros just could not get anything going. They didn't get anybody to second base in this game. And we'll be right back.